your job and you need to get out. You need to move on, like yesterday, but aren't sure how to start the process of trying to move on, which can be scary and sometimes feel super complicated. Then this video is for you. I will give you a strategy to help you think through that process to develop your exit strategy. Grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's chat. Welcome to the Unapologetically Authentic Leadership Channel. I'm Brooke, your transformational leadership coach. This space is all about empowering high-achieving women in leadership to be their authentic selves. And in case you're new here, my goal is to help you reach your full potential by being who you are, not who you're expected to be. And I do believe in professional development, which is why I offer a free mini course to help you build your leadership skills and your confidence, and it is linked in the description box below. It's called 4 Powerful Shifts to Elevate Your Leadership and Feel More You at Work, which is so important. This video was inspired by a conversation that I had with a friend of mine a couple days ago. She's at the point where she really is ready to transition out of her current role, like wishes that she could do it ASAP. But the process of doing that can be overwhelming. You start to think about all the reasons to stay versus all the reasons to go, and it really boils down to the familiar is more comfortable, even if it's uncomfortable, than the unfamiliar, which can be a little scary and a little intimidating. And so she really needed a strategy, a way to clarify her thought process. So I did a little coaching with her, and it was a very simple, effective strategy, and I want to share it with you today. Instead of having her make a traditional pros and cons list, I had her make a list, but with 2 categories: the need to have category and the nice to have category. Now, this helps you frame your thoughts around what you value most versus what would just be great if. And that's important, because when you are in a position where you want to leave your current role as soon as possible, for whatever reason, you need to know that that's going to mean a couple of sacrifices or compromises in order to make that happen, because that becomes your top priority. And that's totally different. That's a different conversation than someone who knows that they are ready to transition out to the next role and maybe have a whole year to plan for it and make decisions and do some research. When your goal is to leave as soon as possible, this strategy will help you figure out what compromises, what sacrifices you are willing to make in order to achieve that priority of leaving ASAP. So now you know that you're going to be making a list with 2 columns of your need to have and nice to have. And here are some questions to consider while you are making your list. Are you willing to expand your geographical area? And what do I mean by that? I mean, are you searching within a 2-hour radius for your new position? Are you searching a region of the country? Or are you doing a national search? Because the more you limit your geographic area, the longer it could take for you to move on to that next right position. Are you willing to make a lateral move? For some people, this is really hard. I know this was a hard decision for me. I always struggled with that. It felt like I was giving something up if I made this move that didn't come with a promotion. But sometimes those lateral moves are critical for expediting your process of leaving. Are you willing to search outside of your current area? Maybe it's still within your general career field, but maybe it's a different part of your field. And I ask this because a lot of us have transferable skills that make us highly valuable candidates, but we're so comfortable in the space that we're in and the expertise that we've developed that the idea of having to expand our horizons, learn new things, open ourselves up, be vulnerable, and not be the most knowledgeable in the room, that can be intimidating. And some people are good with that. Some people are good with change and growth and learning. But if you're not, this is an important time to be honest with yourself and know, are you open to changing fields or are you not? And this next one is tough but important, especially if you live in an area where housing costs are high, and particularly rental costs. So My question is, are you willing to consider getting a roommate if you are living in one of the major cities in this country where it is the most expensive to actually rent a place? These are tough housing markets. And sometimes if you want to make a move from your current career and you know that perhaps you're going to be paid less, or you'd have to move to a more expensive area in order to be close enough to commute to the new job, you have to get some assistance. And if you can't afford the rent outright, then it's time to maybe consider finding yourself a roommate. Again, be very honest with yourself. Is this something that you can do or something that you won't do? Is it a need to have? Do you need to have your own space? Or is it a nice to have? And it is super important to make a realistic budget so that you know what the minimum salary is that you can choose to accept. And I know that no one wants to be thinking about what is the minimum salary you can accept, but remember, when your priority is moving on as fast as possible from this job to the next, you might have to compromise. You might have to go in at the same salary or a slightly lower salary in order to be able to make that transition. And knowing that that salary might go up because maybe there are bonuses involved, or maybe you know that they do an annual raise of 3%, 5%, 7%, or maybe there's room for advancement. Maybe there are ways to write that into your contract as part of your negotiations. But all that said, at the end of the day, you need to know what are your hard and fast, non-negotiable expenses, and where are the areas where you can make modifications in order to be able to accept a job that you feel is a really good next step for you, but might require you to make a compromise financially. Again, think about what is your need to have, what is your nice to have, what category does that belong in based on what you value. And here's the last one. Are you willing to take a job that is strictly a transitional position, meaning that it's not connected to career goals you have or your current career path? It is simply a means of transitioning out of the circumstance that you're in. And I would only recommend this one if you know that your current environment is toxic, that it is making you sick, that it is asking you to compromise what you believe in and your own well-being. If that is you, if you are working for a horrible boss or in a toxic environment where stress levels are so high that it is negatively impacting your well-being, then you might want to consider making a move that is strictly to help you transition out. And maybe this is something where it's about the same pay as you are making now, but it would offer you the opportunity to be in a better environment until you find that next right move that will land you back on the career path that you want and that will help you advance towards your career aspirations. Maybe this is just the life raft that you need to be on before you can get on to solid land. And sometimes it takes a while for us to realize that that's the position that we're in and that we need to make that kind of sacrifice or compromise. But when you start thinking through all of this, you'll know. Now is a really good time to make your list. So I recommend pressing pause to take a moment to answer the 6 questions. And when you're ready, press play and I will help you with the final step of creating your exit plan. So I know you probably had some pretty tough conversations with yourself as you've been making your list. And now I'm going to make it a little harder, but only because I care about you. So here we go. So now you're going to define your top 3 need to haves, and everything else on your list, everything else, becomes a nice to have. And remember, this is with the priority of leaving your current role ASAP. I know this is hard, but it will help you know what moves you need to make next. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment box below. I would be happy to offer some additional ideas if you are feeling stuck. But I promise you, this will help you cut through everything. All of the excuses, all of the reasons, so that you can see what is most important to you and how to move forward. And not based on what anyone else thinks, just based on what you value, what is most important to you, because it's your life. Good luck to you. And again, let me know in the comments if you need any additional help. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If you found the video helpful, please give it a like, share it, to help more people see it. And if you're interested in private coaching, please connect with me directly. You can do this by visiting my website, and we can talk about what you want to achieve, what changes you want to make in your life, and how I can help. And until next time, stay true to yourself, lead with purpose, and thank you for watching.